This conference will now be recorded.
article that says new officers on probation can be assigned 8 or 10 hour shifts. And we generally, when we put somebody on probation, we put them on a minimum probation. We may be putting them on maximum probation.
This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. And so, Tom, I got to agree with the. To IRA, HA, no, and salary we did. Shift premium we did. Hi. We'll call you today, but things just got away from me. We'll call maybe. There. Call the meeting to order, rise to the pledge.
United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going to be gathered at this stage to do the important business for the people of the village of Owego, and its wisdom, compassion, and understanding. Amen.
Amen. All right, we're going to go out a little bit out of order, just because we got 2 department heads we gotta get out of this one quick. We're going to do EMS first. We've got some quick reports to give.
And I just want to let everybody know that I'm not trying to hide from anybody.
I don't care.
I had eye surgery this morning, and I have to wear these to keep the bright light out.
Your story, Charlie, you stick to it.
That's right.
I'm not Ray Charles, but you can hit the road, Jack.
You're up, Jeff. That way you get out of here. Christina? No, we'll do you guys first and then. We're trying to leave her in.
Scoot up.
Sneak out the side.
So as you can see, the first line here is number of calls for the month. We've had 63 calls so far this month. 6 of them were to mutual aid. You can also see the next line. The next line is that there's no new resignations so far.
Can I alter that line?
Yep.
So they get a resignation letter from Linda Van Duzen as far as a part-time paid staff.
Yes.
By the way.
Also, vehicle-wise, 2031, you can see 28,000 miles, no issues with it. 2032 has 146,000 miles and is out of service until further notice because of hitting a deer Friday with it. So that's pretty much done. 33 has 160,000 miles with no issues. In 2034, the new one we just got with 44,000 miles. We're waiting on the narcotics safe and paperwork from New York State to certify the ambulance. 2051. The fly car has 49,000 miles and it's back from having the graphics completed. Also, it's back from having the auto eject complete and other additional items such as outlets for things to plug into. Siren speakers were changed out because they were broke. They were barely working. So
Is that in service now?
that's in
Okay.
service. Yep.
Looks good too.
New video laryngoscopes. We have we're scheduling the training for those. Those were the donation from the furniture sale on Front Street.
So they drive?
Yes. Cosmetics, serviced our stretchers and our auto loads. 2 stretchers needed parts. They'll return, service the last truck probably next week, I believe they're supposed to be. So that's all been serviced tonight. We're doing a demonstration for the Zoll's, life packs and the Zoll's, auto pulse. So that's where everybody is tonight. Narcotics license needs updating due to the department head changes. Regional contact update has been sent for the narcotics. Working with DOH to update also, narcotics information, but also the department heads and all that information. EMS banquet was last weekend, that went well. Thanks to Mike and Fran for attending. And the old business, still having the sewer backup with the drains tied into the roof of the firehouse. I've met with Martin Plumbing about it. I know Fred, you've been talking with people about it, so, it's not a simple disconnect, the way it's piped into the building. So, if you want, I can keep working on that with Martin's, or you are gonna do something different with it? Yeah, I know.
We gotta figure out how much it's gonna cost.
I had Tim looking at it, Steve.
Okay.
Let's go to the state.
And that's
Yeah.
EMS. Any questions?
The bad thing about, obviously we hit it here, but silver lining is that I was going for rechasing anyway.
I was going for rechassis, yep. It's just.
The insurance
We're
covers it?
probably gonna take some parts out of it and have it towed down there and just let it sit till they're ready to do it. So,
Sucks it
we
takes
got
it out of
some
service.
parts to take off of it yet. We got a radio's gotta come out of it, speakers out of the front of it, some other stuff to get off of it so that it doesn't go down there with that, get lost or whatever.
So you're not applying for insurance?
We put an insurance claim in.
So,
We'll see where it goes. But yeah.
the other good thing is that none of the crew was injured or patient or anything.
That's the
like that.
biggest thing, yeah.
It was on the way to the hospital, so there was a patient in the back.
It's got decent damage. It's out here. It's not in good shape.
Yeah, deer are all over the place this time of year.
There's a lot of deer. Anything else for EMS? Anyway.
This might be a good time, I don't know, I was gonna do it later. The patient, which you're not allowed to say things, but he gave me authority to say things, and it's Dave Bolin, and he had a nasty fall and has broken ribs and is not doing great, but he wanted to make sure that everyone knew what a fabulous job the EMS folks that were taking care of him did. They were on their way to Guthrie, they were past the racetrack, and they hit that deer, and they were above and beyond taking care of him and everything else. So he wanted everyone to know. He said, gold star, beautiful.
Thank you.
We're good.
Okay.
Thanks. And then our next department head gotta get out here is ready.
So we,
Do DPW quick. And then we'll go back to our normal public comment.
last week, I won't go over everything, but for the last month and a half, we've had 2 leaf machines out working nonstop, trying to keep up with leaf, but good luck with that. Next thing is we attended the new DTA over at the, town of Owego, the new weather station that they're putting in. Very good idea. It's gonna be great. We attended the Cornell Roads Workshop at the town of Owego barn for my crew, learned some more stuff about the roads and equipment. The drainage at the Little League Park is all set to go for paving in the spring, so that'll be good. I do have 3 quotes, or getting 3 quotes for the Church Street and Main Street turning, but I haven't heard anything from them yet.
Traffic light.
Traffic lights. Banners are up on Lake Street in front. We put the stars, or the snowflakes up today on the bridge. Everything's good to go. We plugged in for the lights on the river.
They all work?
All work.
Till we plug them in then.
Yeah, zip it, Mike. Don't be saying that. Yeah, I only guarantee when we first plug them in. After that, I don't know.
So you're saying it's beginning to look a lot.
It's getting there.
Sing
That's
it, Ray.
about what we did, the first line. Any questions?
Sweet Jesus.
Get around it, anything from sewer plant quick?
Yeah, I mean, the month of October, pulled in over 501,000 gallons for processing revenues of 31,500. DEC made an annual biosolids inspection visit. They're still working on the filing, but they're letting us know that we might have to do more sampling and testing with past couple of years, since 2022, we've had a big problem with lead times and repair times. So I'm trying to research with Kim and about if there's a way, if I can come up with a list to dip into one of our reserve accounts in order to try to pre-order a bunch of stuff that we see short lives on or near. We just had a heater in our pole barn that's 50 years old, crap out on us. So we're trying to work around that right now.
Makes sense. All right, stocks and stuff.
That's it.
Anybody have anything sewer about before these guys get out here? All right, I will go back to the regular schedule. Public comment? What we got?
I have a question.
Sure.
A couple months ago,
Introduce yourself.
I'm Cindy. Everybody knows me.
Cindy, what's your last name?
Bob Nick,
Thank you.
289 Front Street. A couple months ago when Nate was here, we were discussing applications for building permits. And he stated that you have to go through zoning and planning for a pre-existing project or a house, say you wanted to put a new roof on your house. You guys tabled that, what'd you do with it? Just,
Oh, as far as the
He wanted to
flood
change
damage prevention, right, we haven't done anything with it, so it's still in place.
okay, because it's not listed as old business on here.
Yeah, we haven't,
You don't put your table stuff, we don't,
not all of it.
oh. Because I tried to look through the old minutes and notes and couldn't find if it's even been discussed.
Probably not since the meeting we're at.
Okay, so that would be something I'd like to see if we could push on that, because if people want to do projects on their homes, it's a hassle in this village. I can tell you, I own a property in Danby. I want to put a new roof on, you don't even have to have a building permit. You want to redo your porch? No building permit. Nothing. And here you have to go through committee after committee after committee. It could take you years to get a permit to do anything. It should be streamlined. I mean, just so we can, that's all.
I agree. Yeah. All right, more public comment?
Yeah, I have a similar issue.
Sure.
Code.
Okay.
So I'm Becky Hillman, I have Renewal Ranch down there. And, they stopped in, 2 weeks ago now. And I have not heard anything back from them.
Okay.
They tried seizing all the operations there. But they tried to say we're operating out of zoning, but I was zoned church or residential. And my 501c3 is registered as religion. So just kind of trying to see where we were at with that.
So we can't really deal with code enforcement stuff, other than I can get you in touch and bug them to call you back.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
That's about all we can do.
But I'd like to know where I stand with you guys as well.
I don't know what you mean by that, so.
Well, we had our meeting and I haven't heard anything back.
It's, again, it's a code and zoning issue, so it's not a village board issue, really. That needs to go through those proper channels. That's all the best answer we can do.
Might I? Sure. I don't know if it'll help the others either. The village board doesn't vote on code things. We establish a code and then it's law. We don't vote then, this is what somebody wants and we say you can do it or not do it. That's not part of our ability. All we do is make the law and the code officer enforces the law. But we don't then vote to say, oh, code officer, do this, don't do that. We don't have that authority.
Yeah, but I don't know what they're enforcing.
I don't either, but we don't have you say you wonder what we think or what we want. It doesn't really matter what we want. We don't have that say.
Alright, so what about the homeless issue? Are you guys got anything to do with that?
That's a much bigger issue. It's
Yeah.
really a
Oh,
county
yeah.
level issue.
Yep. So, I mean, it's not gonna go away.
It's an issue with the county level. The village doesn't have extra budget to deal with that kind of stuff.
So that's where Renewal Ranch comes into play, is working with you guys and everything else to try to make something work, because whatever is, everybody's doing their own little thing and it's not working. Cause I'm actually out trying to reach out to these guys and help, and then I'm fighting at village levels and everything else, so I'm trying to help and feel like I'm getting fought by everybody else around here. So that's where I need your guys' support. If you guys want to try to work on this homeless issue, I need your guys' support. Because, I don't even know if it was 6 months ago, I used to come down here and cook dinners down at the foundry. And sorry, I'm gonna call you out a little bit, Jess, but this girl right here wouldn't even come out and speak to us. But by just a little bit of compassion, now she comes and hangs out with me all the time. And we're working on jobs. I got a lot of them going down to DSS. But I can't do that job and fight the village at the same time. I can't.
By fighting the village, I think you're talking code and zoning.
No, it's all, the letter all came from the village. The little, on the top, it says the village of Owego. So I'm sorry, but
Well, what did the letter say?
told me to seize all my operations immediately because I was operating out of my zoning. And I'm zoned church or residential, 2-family residential. No, I don't have anybody living there. Oh, I'd love to fill that lot with tiny homes.
That was not a good thing to say, not yet.
No, I mean, hey, tiny homes, that can house a lot in a small area. I would love to put that in the side yard over there. And managed by us.
So it's technically are allowed in our code, but it's not applied anywhere. So don't do that yet. Until you talk to us for help.
That's one of the reasons why I'm here. Because I wanna be able to work with you guys, but we do have to communicate a lot better.
Sounds like you have zoning issues and
Mhm.
code issues, which is not, we don't enforce it, but we can get you the right people to do.
Mhm. And I would really, I mean, if it is at all possible to find some kind of housing that Renewal Ranch can get funded and manage, it would probably help out a lot.
And you're probably, that's a county level. They've got people that work on that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, and that's fine, but
we've got contacts there.
the
Yeah,
property,
The county can help you with, applying for grants through the state and through, federal funding. There's monies available.
yeah. Is there any possible way you think it would ever happen right there on the property that we already have?
We have to see what you come up with and that's with them.
I can work on that.
Well, I'd like to say that, I don't believe the village board is at all, against the homeless. Last winter, the mayor opened up the village hall here for, coffee and movie every Sunday morning. And, we collected a number of items out here in the hallway. People kept bringing items for the homeless, whether it be socks or food or dishes and pots and pans. You know, so we do have empathy.
We just gotta, we all do really have to work together. I mean, you know, I go out to them and a lot of times I can't even, I used to be able to come out there and sit, they'd pull up a chair and you could sit in front of their hut and chit chat with them about life and where they wanna go, and now it's really hard to engage with them because they're worried about how they're gonna stay warm at night. And it's not easy, it's not just, come on guys, go get a job. Jess has been working hard about going down to DSS, but it doesn't happen overnight. And they're just kicked out over and over and over again. And you tell me a good place to work with them and we'll help set it up and keep it cleaned up and everything, but I work for SOS and the OMH already got shut down for the state. I had 7 applications I was giving out. Just was one of them. And I had to break the news to all of them that just went away. So, state doesn't care. So,
Yeah, this is a bigger issue, right, at a county level. Tioga County's not at all set up to deal with this issue,
you know,
service-wise. Rome County's much better.
Ithaca's
Still
real
not
good.
great.
They let them stay in they cleaned up the jungle, but they all sit there.
None of them are doing great.
No, but we can reach out to them easier out there. I go to Cortland, Tompkins, and Tioga County for work.
And they're probably the 3 force.
Well, personally, I like to thank you for what you do. It's obvious that you have a big heart. There's a lot more people like you in this world. The issue is so big, you have to coordinate so many different agencies to make things work.
Yeah, that's not easy either. No, my paycheck comes from RSS. I have Renewal Ranch and I'm on the Catholic Charities SOS team. It's like, wait, what? But it does, it takes an army. So, yep.
The system's not great, especially in Tioga County.
No, I don't even know how, if you don't have a home and a good place to sleep at night or anything, I don't even know how you could think to do all the hoops and stuff that they have to go through. It makes my head spin, and I can go home at night. So, sometimes.
But we can get you in touch with code and stuff like that.
Yeah, I really would like to get that. I mean, it's stressful, and this is all stressful enough. I don't need that too. I don't mind following whatever rules I gotta follow, but man, it'd be easier if everything was just laid out. Communication.
Anybody else? Public comment?
I have another question.
Sure.
So when special meetings are called for the village, does that agenda show up on the agenda on the Owego page?
Yes. Well, which Owego page are you talking about?
Like when you look at agenda, meeting
On our
minutes?
website?
Yeah.
Yes.
And is Historic now recording their minutes or their meetings?
On this thing, you mean?
Yes.
Probably not, that's not really a requirement to do by the open meetings law. And I'm the only one really who knows how to run this, everything here. So we've been doing, video and YouTube, I've been in for 7 years, we've been doing it for 7 years. Prior to COVID, I was doing it with a video camera and uploading it myself, just because it was a pet peeve of mine that I didn't know what was going on, and I wanted to know what was going on. So for transparency, I've been doing it. So with COVID, everything got a lot easier with these virtual meeting systems. They can record for you now. But as far as at the village, nobody really knows how to run it besides me. So,
It would be nice if that happened.
so I do stop and turn it on for them so they can use it, but if they don't hit the record button, then they don't have it. So,
We can't have access, nobody can have access unless they're an employee. So unless you show up,
right.
the boards can't record their meetings and can't have them online.
That's another issue, right? To log into the computer, you have to be a county employee or a village employee. So, which none of the board volunteers have logins and all that kind of stuff.
But this board does.
No, only I do.
Okay.
Mainly because it's not easy to keep your login, because you gotta take classes through IT and all that kind of stuff. So typically, when other boards like the planning board, zoning board, OHBC have meetings, as long as I know about it, somebody bugs me, I stop and turn it on for them.
I got a quick question. My name is Bill Chandler. I live in Owego. How come the board doesn't have one of your code officers sit, not answer questions, but listen to these people when they talk? You go to the town of Owego board, you got the code officer there. It's just like a county meeting. You don't directly ask that person or that person a question. You ask the board, then the board follows through, but you got a representative from each department hearing the problem. And that way, it doesn't get translated in a different manner to the person that's being asked about. How come that doesn't happen here?
So it's never happened in the past, but actually we were just talking today about making that happen.
Well,
That's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea. Rusty?
I'm asking the mayor for the board, for the privilege of the floor. When it's my chance. Yeah.
Go ahead.
One of the complications, there's always complications, don't we know, on these things, is that most of the code issues are confidential. So if somebody came here and wanted to do a code issue, that would be problematic. Now, just a general question, but nobody almost ever wants a general question. They want something that's complicated.
But that's the point. The code officer could hear what she had to say.
Yep.
And then at a later time, now he knows that she hasn't been answered between the mayor and the board. You folks are the ones to make sure that they do their job. And if they don't do their job, it's your job to make them do their job. Yeah, I mean, each department is different. But you're the representatives of this community, and it's your job to make sure that these people that are taxpayers or whatever are taken care of.
Completely accurate. So we were actually just talking about that tonight, about that,
Thank you.
for code enforcement.
Thank you, Bill.
Yep.
We were reading your minds, I guess, earlier.
You're coming down north on Church.
Yep.
You wanna turn left,
You
go
better
on
not
to
come
Main,
down North on Church or you're making
or
trouble.
whatever. You come down Church Street, you get to the light, you wanna turn left, you can't see because of the nice site building. You gotta go out past the crosswalk. And then if there's cars there, you gotta go halfway out into the intersection to see whether or not you can turn. And I almost got clipped the other day because some little shit in a hot rod, little Bosna come flying up and I couldn't see him. The other thing is, when are they gonna do something about the car that's sitting in the Hyde lot that's been there for months? Parked in the same spot with the tarp over the windshield?
First I heard about it, so I'll ask.
Couple of
It's
years
been
ago,
sitting there for
was a car
months.
Sitting out there without a tire for the whole winter.
It's been sitting in the same spot for months.
Yeah, we're gonna have him move to the next spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might get in trouble, but you know, kind of OPD was kind of patrolling like they're supposed to be doing. They'd see this stuff. You know, which is another reason why the chief should kind of be here once in a while too. The other thing, I think what you're doing with the sign for the Legion is bullshit.
Check into the car. Anything else? Anybody? Let's Sabrina go. All right. Sabrina?
Trust me, I'm gonna be real quick. I am Sabrina Henriquez with the Tioga County Chamber of Commerce and the Tioga County Chamber Foundation. And we also have a junior chamber. So we are actually located at the high school. And the reason why I'm here tonight is the village of Owego in the past, and you know, we have like 100-year history. The village of Owego was always a member of the chamber, and they are not members of the chamber currently. So a lot of the things that I do when you guys do call, I just go ahead and do them without any like as a courtesy. But I would love to see the support from the village for the chamber. We have also been voted on as the official chamber of Tioga County. And so that kind of hopefully allows us to really, you have a question? Oh, sorry. Hopefully it allows us to continue partnering with our local villages and local towns, municipalities. And so that's really all that I have to say. Some of the things that we would love to do is, obviously, you know, we just did the ribbon cutting, which it was great. Oh my God, that was so great. Thank you so much for including us in that. You know, so these are the kind of things that the chamber does. We can also host some of these meetings. You know, maybe there's a breakfast meeting with code enforcement, and I can tell you right now, I would be there. Like, I would be there. You know, like there's so much stuff that the chamber can do that not necessarily you guys as a village can necessarily do. We can put together events for you, breakfasts for you. We can do public, whatever. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that the chamber can do, as well as we also do business shows. We had the breakfast, the legislators' breakfast. I mean, we haven't done that in many, many years. We're bringing that back. So there's just a lot of things that are happening with the chamber, and we are just continuing to grow and continuing to expand what services that we can offer to not only the community, but also to our municipalities.
Do you have other municipalities that are members?
Yes. So we have the town of Owego, the county of Tioga County is a member. EDMP is a member. HR, like we have certain departments even within the county. So the sheriffs, they're members. It's just you guys pretty much. And of course, like Cantor's not a member. Like, don't worry, I'm gonna make my rounds.
What's required to be a member?
So it's paying dues. So our dues go between $150 to $2,500. But it also includes different things in it. So different benefits go with each one of those tiers. So when Mike and I talked, we were like, okay, you know, he's like, well, just come tell us kind of what the chamber can do for us. And then, yeah, the range is between $150. I can tell you that the counties are mostly paying like the nonprofit rate, which is $220 a year. Some of them are paying as much as $300. But you know, I got Lockheed Martin's at $5,000 a year. So it really does range. And the reason they're at $5,000 is because they are actually presenting sponsors for some of our events, like our business shows, our, you know, legislative breakfasts that we do. We have summer workshops that we do for nonprofits. There's so many programs that we do And so we have custom memberships that allows them to put those in there.
Do you have like a sheet of what you get for?
I do.
Okay. Send it to me, I'll send it around.
Appreciate that.
Any questions for Sabrina?
No, well, thank you for all you do, Sabrina.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I understand.
Thanks for coming.
All right, I can go?
You just send me the information.
Oh, am I supposed to stay? I'm so
Yeah.
tired, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
You certainly required.
I started at 7 this morning, okay.
Go.
Thank you all so much for listening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Sabrina.
Yeah. We'll go back to department heads, who are missing, police department, we're hearing from Joe.
I spoke to him today. He has some things for us next meeting, but nothing for tonight.
And fire department?
I have a couple of new memberships. Want to do it now?
Sure.
So we have Justin Thompson, who would like to join the company threes. I'd like to make that motion to accept his membership application.
Second?
Sure.
He's been anything.
Okay. Any discussion on Justin? Rusty.
What's that?
Oh, Rusty?
We're voting? Oh, okay. Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Fran?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
And yes.
And we have Nicole Totten. Am I pronouncing that right? Am I seeing it correctly?
Close enough.
She wants to join company threes also. She application. She has also gone through questioning and passed by the fire board. So I'd like to make the motion to accept her also as volunteer fire.
Second?
Motion and a second. Any
Rusty.
discussion? We'll vote. Rusty?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Fran?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Charles?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yes. Cross those off the list. Anything else from the fire?
I do not have anything else at this time.
I know the ladder truck is still, I think they have a good estimate on that one, yeah.
And that,
Still at service.
and there's you can see they're doing some excellent work over there at the steamer house.
Yeah, that's the
A couple
host.
of pictures.
On the sidewalk.
Even though the state of New York doesn't like us.
What was that, Ken?
I said, even though the state of New York doesn't like us.
About putting the driveway in where we want it?
Curb cut,
Oh,
the
yeah.
sidewalk.
Yeah.
I can't say anything nice, so I don't say anything at all.
Oh, come on.
We tried to negotiate that to take the curb cut out where it was and put it up there, which shouldn't be a big problem. Because there's already one, we just want to move it,
Yeah,
but everything's a problem.
that's the wonderful DOT.
But you know, it's costing you people money too. Because you had the equipment there once this summer to do that curb cut. And now that contractor has pulled their equipment and gone away. Now you have to have another contractor come in with his equipment and charge you again for the same damn thing.
Never cheap.
The other one was for.
If I might, Mike,
Well, it's never cheap when it comes out of volunteers' money.
That's true.
and the state, when we first started all this way back when, the state warned us about that. They told us you may not be able to, they just were a little snippy about it way back when we wanted to start.
And never said another word until it comes to the bottom
Of course,
line.
yeah.
Well, we did have a police thing.
I'm sorry?
We did have a police thing.
Oh,
Do the motion for the PBA contract.
oh my goodness, that looked, oh,
Does that go by doesn't the committee present that first or something?
Yeah, so the negotiating team negotiated it and we approved it and the PBA approved it. So now there's a motion on the agenda for you guys to approve it. Or not approve it, vote on it.
so has everybody seen
Yeah, it was included in the packet.
the packet, okay. And there were a few changes, not tremendous amount of changes, but certainly some significant ones. And after a year and a half of negotiation, this is what the negotiating committee came up with, which we told you that we recommended that a while back. Now, it doesn't mean that somebody can't look at this and say, well, there's something here I don't like, or we shouldn't do this, or we can do that, but we spent an awful lot of time to get to where we are. And if somebody wants to now say, oh, I don't like that, well, you can do it, but we're kind of there.
So the main changes are, obviously the pay rates. And that we got them to 100% HRA, which is health reimbursement account, instead of a health saving account. In theory, saves the village a little bit of money while providing the same benefit to employees.
And hopefully that, once again, you know from, this is public information, right? So I'm not saying anything I can't know. And that's why that particular increase is to be negated with the HSA.
Right.
That particular one.
That's the first
salary increase.
The first year increase is basically that's a standard savings that we realized from going from the HSA to the HRA.
We've talked about that.
So we did this 3 years ago for the CESA and gave them the same rates. So that's where the number came from. And then just increase the shift premium a little bit, 10 cents for each year. Our retired officers agreement, the big change there was the term used to only be 1 year for some reason. So we matched it to the contract. So we don't have to renew it, because that was the thing that we would always forget to do when they would tell us about it. That was the main.
Any last minute questions? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Move to accept the PBA agreement as presented.
Brian, second.
Second.
Michelle, vote. Rusty.
Nate told me I can't vote against it now. Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Dave.
Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Charles. Yes. And yes. All right, finally got a contract
Yeah.
after years and years.
What now, 3 weeks, we gotta negotiate a brand new one?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Starting. All right. Communications, I don't have anything. Okay. Old business, discussion on the traffic light. Not a lot of discussion on it. We gotta
We're gonna
fix
do
it.
other departments?
We already did one.
Who'd we miss?
Okay.
Fire, the only, I believe that Eric didn't have anything for Charles with fire other than the
Okay.
the people.
Gotcha.
And the other guys already left. Okay. So discussion on the traffic lights, so I asked Fred to quote a brand new light instead of repairing the one that's there. Like to quote a brand new one that would match the other lights in the village, which are state owned, but like, what would it be to get one that looks exactly like the other ones?
And that's not just the light, that's the
The
everything,
pole and
the
the metal,
pole, the box,
the-
everything.
the whole deal.
That's. Did he give a number?
No, he said he's got 3 quotes out, none of them are back yet.
I think that's $100,000, or I think it's a pile of money.
It probably is, but.
Yeah.
Other than
Well,
that,
it's like every couple of years, we put, a whole bunch of money in that same.
right. That same old light.
Keeps breaking down.
So what's the cost for brand new,
I'll
ground
be
up,
back.
everything?
Don't smell it.
Yeah.
We'll still be here, don't worry. So
So we have to wait till he gets the quotes.
we don't really have any other action to take.
No.
We have those quotes to fix it.
Like,
Rusty?
so the recommendation of the traffic committee at this time, if we want to remove it, we have to have the 90 days. Recommendation was, we're studying it because we have to. We did put up 2 signs on the stop signs to help with this that say, when you're coming up Church Street and you don't know whether the other guys are stopping or not stopping, it says cross traffic does not stop.
Okay,
So we believe that will be helpful
that helps.
for people come up Church Street thinking, oh, I'm not sure whether they gotta stop, whether they got a blinking yellow, blinking red. Well, no, they don't they have to stop. So people won't just zing through there and think the other people are stopping. It helps, but it doesn't, nothing fixes it, but it's something.
Blinking yellow light means to slow down and yield,
Yeah, right. Not speed up.
and just zip through.
We know that. Anyway, that's where we're at.
Okay. And then our other old business item, because they were asking me about it, is the memorial bench at Draper Park. So she came and presented it last meeting. She gave us the details. The question is, what do we want to do? Because there is some controversy there within the family.
So my suggestion, I'm sorry, go ahead, Rusty.
Just real quick. One of the things we do too often is we're doing something, we say, oh, well, we're moving this along, we're thinking about this, but people get the idea that meant that we'd approved it. So if that's not what we do, if we're still thinking about it, and this can't be done till the spring anyways, if we're still looking about that kind of thing, someone should reach out to them and say, this hasn't been approved yet, so don't think that what the things that we did when you were working with Fred meant that it was all set to go and approved. They just need that courtesy.
Yeah, so they've been reaching out. I just want to know what to tell them.
I feel until the family can work it out, we are in a very awkward span. You know, we can't approve this if, you know, the daughter says no. So I just think we need to have some consensus from the family.
Yeah, this put us in a good spot.
It does.
Yeah, I believe both parties need to get together and hash things out, and so we can move forward on this. Without that, we are going to step on anybody's toes.
Right. Run anything against the bench, but I don't want some issue there.
Mr. Mayor, would you be
No, I'll reach back out to
interested
them.
in informing them someone should inform them that it's not been approved and this is this.
I will do that.
Thank you.
Next thing is discharge of mortgages. Somebody wanna do it?
Sure, I'll motion to discharge the mortgages.
In the list.
Yeah, there's a big list.
Well, and it says it here in the motion, in the list presented to the mayor.
All right, I'll read it as that. To approve the following discharge of mortgages for CDBG grants issued in the early 2000s.
I'll second it.
You got a second in there.
Mainly cleaning up our books. This stuff should have happened a long time ago. Any other discussion on that? Fran?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
Rusty?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Dave? Yes. And yes. Okay. Next thing is paying the bills.
Zing, zing, zing. Let's pay the bills.
Yeah, we got one thing to talk about. But make the motion and second. So I'll talk.
I make the motion to pay the bills.
I'll second the motion to pay the bills.
Okay, so we got one dispute in the bills, which is something I told him that I would bring up and we would have to figure out. So, the legal charge for EMS.
What page, man? That was pretty.
Their
big.
share of our,
So they don't think they should pay that from their budget. So I told them we would talk about it.
this is, Mike, this is the standard percentage that we do for,
No,
oh, this is something.
it's 100% them because it was confidential investigation, $18,000.
What page you at?
On page 3 of the bills.
Page 43.
Oh, boy. That wasn't what we would like to believe was going to be a number.
Well, so I talked to our friend the lawyer about this, and that apparently is a fairly accurate number of other things he's seen of that size. Although he's not saying that there isn't, that we couldn't, maybe get a discount on that because it took so long. So he's not against us not paying that bill right away.
So move to amend the payment of the bills to pay the bills at this time.
Except that one charge.
Okay, gotcha.
So right now, we've got it coming out of the EMS fund. So that's something we gotta think about.
That would be another thing about if we're gonna pay it, how we're gonna do it, and then where we're gonna do it. So either way, paying that at this time.
This is a pretty sizable.
But you wanna do that with you wanna amend your motion or no?
Terry made it.
Yeah. Is this something we should,
You made the motion, I think, what she said.
do executive session with it? I don't know.
Well, we can ask Nate about it at another time.
Oh, of course.
Right. He's not here tonight.
Well, we should have a discussion, but that's why we're gonna delay it for now.
Yeah, we definitely should. That seems really large.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Delay it, yeah.
Compared to what I thought it was gonna be.
That's what we thought.
So Terry, will you amend your motion to pay all the bills except this one?
Yes. I think that would be a good plan.
Actually, Charles made the motion. Charles made the motion.
You want to amend?
I amend that motion.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so let's vote on that, all the bills except that one bill. Rusty?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Dave? Yes. Fran?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
Ian, yes. Treasurer's report. Are we good? Anybody have any questions?
Motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Second. Any discussion on it? We did talk about format of it.
We're still looking at Kingston's.
Yeah, with our new software, I'm not
Yeah, I really feel that,
quite happy with the report you get. The one I get in Excel is much better.
the different accounts for the different departments should be put together. Instead of scattered around through, you have to pick
Yeah.
out,
We're trying to,
you know, everything that's for the
we're switching over. to-
fire department should be the fire department, and everything for the sewer department should be together as a sewer department.
Yeah, so we talked about running maybe like a budget, instead of this one, run like a budget status, which is basically the whole budget, but laid out a little bit better. So we're still working on it.
We've changed it about 3 times.
I don't know which one she ran.
Well, I don't have any, problem with the figures. I do, our last, statement for September, I had requested that, the, interest off the perpetual care fund, for this last year be put into the, reserve, the Evergreen Reserve Capital account, and the interest off from the cemetery Doris Edwards account be put into the Village of Owego Cemetery headstone repair. And the interest from both of those were put into the headstone repair. So that the, we need to discuss that at another time, but that's, one difference I would note. After I had seen the budget, seen the statement last time, I did send an email message to Rod and to, Nate, that all of that should not go into the headstone repair fund, because the interest off perpetual care is supposed to be for other maintenance of the cemetery, not for headstones. Okay, so I mean, for right now, we leave it alone, but I think we need to,
I think we did.
no, you put it all into the headstone repair. Well, I've got,
Check it out.
I've got the, let me put it, find it here.
You guys are gonna do that later?
Yeah, well, it didn't happen. What happened is, in February, or, yes, September, instead of, 18,000 going in, approximately 18,000 going into the, reserve capital improvements, and, it was around almost 9,000 from the Doris Edwards. They were combined together, there was 27,000 put into the, headstone repair account instead of 18,000 there and 8,000 up there, so.
So I do have a question. The ones that say I and V, which are the Doris Edwards, Perpetual Care and the headstone, are those the ones with the other fund that we set up?
Partially, some of them from the,
It's just interesting that they all lost money this one.
through banking system.
With the market going through the roof?
Right, yeah, whatever. You would
Yeah, I
think
don't
they'd be
get it
going
either,
up,
they did it to us a year too,
but anyway,
makes sense.
all the ones we got at the normal bank, the interest rates all go up.
I haven't seen these, you guys, you switched them over to this, so, but we have made money over the years.
Anyway, that's all I know. Okay.
I will go.
You vote on that?
Okay, well, we'll talk about it another time, that's a correction we need to
I'll
make,
check.
not tonight, we can't do it.
Okay. So, we're down to minutes.
Did we vote to?
We didn't approve it.
Okay, we'll vote on it. Rusty?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Fran?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Charles? Yes. And yes. Okay. So we have minutes, we got two of them, because we had a special meeting for DRI stuff.
An expert?
I'd like to motion to approve the minutes for the October,
November.
November 4th.
November 4th
was.
meeting
As presented.
as presented.
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion on the minutes? It'll do me. Fran?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
Rusty?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
And yes. We got November 11th, which was our.
Yeah, I'd like to motion to approve the November 11th minutes as presented.
I'll second that.
They beat you to it.
Oh, excuse me.
Any discussion on those minutes?
You're too quiet, Dave.
Rusty?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Fran?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
And yes. Let us go. Trustee report. Dave?
Today I went over to talk to Dirk at the sewer plant in regards to how the new vac machine is working. It's currently in the garage, and apparently due to some modifications with this new machine compared to the old one, nobody's quite sure the proper procedures for doing things. So I suggested to him that they get somebody from the factory to come down and give some on-site training to their employees there, so that when it does come time to need that truck, that everybody's familiar with it and nothing's accidentally broken.
Yeah. That's a good idea. We did that with the new streets.
So he's gonna schedule that. As far as the Jeep that we ordered, that is still in limbo. I asked Dirk to look into that and give me an update on that as soon as possible, so I can address the board with where that stands. And that's about it with the sewer plant.
Rusty?
No report.
Charles?
Other than what was already discussed in the department head reports, I don't have anything other than to announce that ADA ramp has been completed.
Oh, yes.
At the pool?
At the pool.
At the
Looks
pool,
great.
yeah.
To thank everybody that was involved in getting that done. That's about all.
Laura?
We had a BRIC DTA meeting today. That's Building Resilient Infrastructure in Communities. direct technical assistance. And we talked about building codes plus up program. And so that's something that we can, we will have somebody, there's going to be somebody writing a grant application for us. And we will try to apply for things like software, engaging consulting services, development of professional workforce capabilities through technical assistance and training. So it's help for our code enforcement office to do its work. And it really needs a lot of help because we ask them to do a whole lot of work, and there's a whole lot on their desks, and there's not enough people to do the work that we're asking of them. So we can support them by making efficiencies in the department, digitizing things, and simplifying all the processes so everybody understands how to do them, and that we can keep all our records and make sure that we have all our records straight, and just in general help out the office and see about hiring help to do it. So we're working at finding ways to do that, and because we're a disadvantaged community, normally these grants are 75-25. Because we're a disadvantaged community, it's 90-10, so we only have to come up with 10%. And our 10% can come by volunteers' time and our employees' labor if they can do some of the work. And so there's ways that we can pay for doing this work without having money to help out our office. So we're going to try to get this. It's competitive, but we're only competing within New York State communities. And then Energy Choices Owego, that's the solar subscription campaign. Residents can still sign up for that to reduce their electric bill by 20%. We get that discount because we're a disadvantaged community.
How long is that still available for?
I'm not sure. When they fill up the field, it'll.
It's one of those where you're buying a spot.
Yeah, it's like you're choosing a competitor of NYSEG for your electric, and so you're spending you're only you get 20% off of your NYSEG bill, but you pay this other company, so you're getting solar powered electricity, and so
Right. And that's
So
the delivery is 20% less.
the supply and
I think
delivery.
it's both, which is unusual.
Yeah,
So the application time is open-ended?
it's still open right now.
Yeah, it's until they sign enough people.
Yeah. However,
On sale till quantities are gone.
Okay.
so separately from that, the program where we report to the state has run out of money for that program for this year. So even though we collected enough signups for reporting for the first tier, since the portal is closed, we'll have to wait for next year for that to open, and we'll submit, and we'll get some more grant money for doing that for next year. I'm trying to get a new date for Cadmus to visit the wastewater treatment plant to conduct an energy audit of our energy use at the facility. I'm still working on the NYSERDA grant to buy. We won the grant, and I'm just working to get all the quotes and do the procurement procedure for the electric vehicle for code, the electric landscaping equipment, and the vehicle chargers.
Are you working
Yeah.
with like Fred or Joe or somebody that knows more about that?
I haven't gotten with anybody for the state quotes, who's a department head. But last time I talked to Fred, he gave me somebody's number. So like, I think I can just skip over it and, you know, call Fred's guy.
So you're not at the point of getting, bids on the equipment?
I am trying to get bids on the equipment.
Has it been publicized in the paper?
No, so I guess I need to do that part.
Yeah, they can help you with that, or Nate can help you. too.
Gotcha.
All right.
He's not here tonight, so we'll sign him up for stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, for 18 grand.
Yeah.
Good emergency.
Okay, I got a point.
Absolutely. Duties.
Okay, then the rest is like I'm just stuff I'm still working on. So
Okay.
let's skip that.
Alright,
Okay.
cool. Terry?
We had an OHPC meeting on the 7th of November. We had 2 applications, Gorgeous Fiber Arts and Owego Brewing Company. They both had signs, they've both been approved, there were no issues. They came with all their stuff, so it was just fun. So we're good, thank you.
Fred?
I have nothing on the EMS, that was well covered already. On the cemetery committee, a week ago in the penny saver, someone inquired about having to have an engineering study done before they could have a burial. And
Oh, I did
that
see that.
is totally false. I mean, once you buy the plot in the cemetery, you're guaranteed that without any strings attached.
Don't read the reader's column.
Yeah, so
That's a
I,
bad
well,
idea.
I think we
Environmental
need to make sure the public is aware of that. There's no engineering study required.
I did read that
Burials,
comment. you're right.
lovely.
Right, for burials.
We try not to respond to the reader's
Yeah.
column.
I do read it, but
Well, I'd like to have it in the minutes. If
Yeah.
We don't require any engineering studies. Okay, on November the 8th, as a lady from Chamber of Commerce told you, we had ribbon cutting at Evergreen Cemetery, and everyone liked to see it. Mayor Mike and Terry and I were there, and a whole bunch of people from the cemetery committee and the Friends of Owego Evergreen. So it was an excellent event. We, after we cut the ribbon at the cemetery gate, we went up to the summit to show people the new parking area and the new walking trail and the expanded view. And it was very well received. In addition to that, I had seen advertised the award from the Preservation Association of the Southern Tier for renovations to historic properties. I'll read to you what I've sent to the Penny Saver and Courier, and I'll pass it on for Rod to put in the minutes. Last November 11th and 24th, Village of Owego trustee and cemetery commissioner Fran Van Hoosen and Owego historian and Friends of Evergreen, Peter Gordon, were invited by Roger Luther, Broome County Historic and Executive Director to the Preservation Association of Southern Tier to attend its annual holiday party held at SUNY Broome Culinary and Event Center, the former Carnegie Library. Past promotes protects the places of historic, architectural, and cultural significance. Over 8 years ago, Marie Ward, Raymond Newsom, and Melody Patterson, with Earl Hartman's assistance, were instrumental in organizing the Village of Owego Cemetery Committee. However, it remains a challenge to implement many of the needed improvements at Evergreen since the Village of Owego has a very limited budget. Over 4 years ago, Marie Ward helped to create the 501c3 of interested community members that has focused on raising funds and grants written by Peter Gordon, called the Friends of Owego Evergreen Cemetery. The Friends has partnered with the Village of Owego Cemetery to renovate Evergreen Cemetery. About a month ago, Fran saw on Facebook recommendations by multiple village residents promoting Evergreen Cemetery as a place of recognition. She applied to pass, along with Peter Gordon's narrative of grants received for Evergreen Cemetery, to be considered for the annual Landmark Award in Broome and Tioga County. Evergreen was especially energized by the Cultural Landscape Survey of 2020, prepared by landscape architect Martha Lyons. Bit by bit, it's easy to take for granted the work done by the two groups and by Fred Ulrich of the DPW, but the assembled narrative is a very impressive category of improvements at Evergreen Cemetery. The upgrades in 2024, the walking trail, expanded view of Sasana Loft Monument, new parking area at the summit, and the repaving of the main loop of the cemetery by Paul Reeves have been the most visible changes, but are only the most recent improvements in a continuum. The chairs of the Owego Cemetery Committee, Barbara Hughes, and Friends, Joan Hunt, are commended for all of their efforts and their leadership on behalf of Evergreen Cemetery. Mr. Luther had also attended the Chamber of Commerce Evergreen Cemetery Committee ribbon cutting last week and told us that he was very impressed by the community support. As the past banquet, 3 historic properties in Broome County and the historic landmark Owego Evergreen in Tioga County received the Historic Preservation Award. Thanks to the Preservation Association of the Southern Tier for the co-recipient awards. Although neglected for many years, Evergreen is no longer forgotten. We are rightly proud and thankful of everyone who has put their blood and sweat into our beloved Evergreen. With the perfect view of Village of Owego, still the coolest small town in America. And they gave us a beautiful 20-pound brass plate that we will put on the front of the.
Put on the gate?
Yeah, well, there's a plaque on both sides of the gate already. So we'll put that on the mortuary chapel.
Needs longer screws.
Longer screws, okay,
Longer
so
screws.
make sure we get longer screws.
Heavy for the gate.
Yeah, I would recommend that.
I go heavy
That's
duty
great.
screws, make sure it stays where it's at, because you could probably get a pretty penny at license for that.
Well, that's a good point too. Lock that thing down, put it inside, maybe. Anything else, Fran?
No, right now, the cemetery committee is not meeting for a couple months, or wait until January.
Everybody gets up there soon, because we'll be having to close it down for the winter.
Yeah,
You can still
That-
walk.
I can still walk, but, I mean. I'm
well,
not
you
walking
go up
for-
there till January
Yeah,
first.
let's get that new road closed down.
Unless it snows before January first, then it gets shut down, and then it snows.
We closed that before January first.
It's beautiful.
January first shuts down. Unless it snows.
Well, you never.
I thought we closed that earlier than
It
that.
used to be like October.
No, well, I don't have the, rules that we came up with 4 years ago, but it says it's open until January first, so that people can put, decorations on their family grave plots for Christmas. Unless it snows before then, and then cemetery gets shut down before January.
Yeah, once it's bad weather, because we don't
Right,
plow.
no plowing.
so
No.
You don't wanna be up there if it's late. All right, down to me.
$50 worth of grass.
I gotta find some way to make this take at least 3 more hours.
Yeah, yeah.
Really.
This isn't right, Mike.
No, I don't have any.
Nothing?
I'll get it in.
Public comment. The last
Okay.
thing as always.
I promised my brothers from the Legion I wouldn't say anything, but I lied.
We don't believe you can.
But I don't have anything to say about the Legion. What I have to say is about you folks and these folks. You are the liaison for the village residents and for people that have issues. I've been to this meeting a lot of times, almost as many times as Ed Bidwell has. Between the two of us, we have over 1,000 meetings, and there's a hole. There always has been a hole. I come as a constituent and say, I want this, I want that. I can't get this done, I can't get that done. Whose responsibility is it to take my concerns back to your department heads? Because I'm telling you, I have been to your department heads, and when I say it was said at the village board, they look at me like I had 3 heads. What goes on here does not go back to them. I.e., the lady that sits here and says, we had meetings and what's going on, and you, Mike, you sit there and you go, I don't know. Because they're waiting for a response from your department head that nobody ever told the department head they had to give. Same thing over with this young lady. Is somebody going to tell your department heads, whose responsibility is it, Rod, to walk from that side of the building to that side of the building and tell code, you need to talk to Susie about an issue. She was at village board and she wants to know what's going on. Not 2 weeks from now when she comes back again, the same lady from the homeless people, wanting to know what the hell's going on. The gentleman sitting here, we're all silent. We were sworn to silent or they're going to kill us. We want to know what's going on with our issue. Is anybody going to come talk to the Legion and tell us what we have to do? Now, I know that you have a communication going with an individual, but the rest of us are sitting here dumb, blind, and stupid. That's what's going on in this village. You have a big hole. Nobody's communicating between you folks and these folks. And they're here every week after week. Rusty, I have sat here so many times, and you are the favorite trustee because you own code.
For that what?
Because you own code. And every issue that comes to this board, not every, I lie, only 99% is code. Do you take back to your department head
I talked to them
that Susie
today.
said something, and would you call her back? I bet not to that granularity.
Because want me to answer you?
I would love for you to answer me.
The first thing that we're taught when we go to NICOM training is we do not run these departments.
You're right.
We are legislators. We are here. I do talk to code all the time. I talked to them today, but I don't run them. I don't tell them what to do, but I can be a communicator.
You're going around my issue. My issue is there's a hole here, Rusty.
Yeah.
There's the board, there's the department heads, and ain't nobody talking to anybody. I talked to Fred. Oh, yeah? What's going on? I mean, we've been dragging this silly sign thing out for months.
Years.
3 years. Let's just put our heads together, meet someplace in the middle, figure out what's going on, and put that God blessed thing to bed. This is stupid. We're all adults. Good.
It does look a lot nicer than that old rusty gas station sign that was there.
I thank you for your point, but whether you like it or not, it's got to be resolved. Let's just do something collectively and make something right in this stupid village? I mean, if I hear one more argument about should it be a yellow light, should it be a red light, should it be a pink light, should I have 9 stop signs or should I have 5 stop signs? What are we doing? We're flapping our gums and doing nothing. Wait till you get your estimate back from Fred. You think you can put your own light sign in? Well, don't buy any dump trucks and don't buy any police cars and don't buy any fire trucks because you're going to be paying for that damn light forever. Come on, guys. Let's not be stupid anymore. You're smart people. Every one of you, you're smart people. Even you, Rusty.
Thank you. Thank you, Ken.
Come on.
Look, I got that on tape.
David, I don't know you, and I've been to 5 meetings now, and I heard you say one word, but my name's Ken Easton. Please. I'm tired of sitting here listening to this foolishness. Rodney, you got to be all but out of your mind listening to all the years you've been here. Can we just put our heads together and do some collective reasoning in this village? It's not tough. By the way, I moved out of the village, so I can't run. Thank you.
You can still talk.
Yes, I am. I sell ice cubes to Eskimos.
And they buy them.
And they buy them.
Anybody else, public comment?
So as Ken said, yeah, you have to sit here during the whole meeting and shut up because those are the rules. Now you don't have to shut up. So if you got it, now's the time.
Because honestly, I'm sorry. If what I asked for doesn't happen, I'm going to start canvassing all the department heads and reading all the minutes, and I'm going to take it back to them and say, did your trustee say this to you? Did your trust? I got the time. I'm retired. I'm enjoying my retirement, but I can make real issues if you want me to. All I want to do is your job for you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I might as well. What the heck?
Yeah, all right, Billy.
He's got things fired up.
Yeah, yeah.
Bill Chandler, yeah. I said it I used to come to these meetings all the time. It was always a good comedy show. I go to the town board meetings. It's a good comedy show and stuff. But, you know, you got code. Code is constructed to make sure things are safe for the public, for the individuals and everything. You know, that's what it's for. There is some give and take in code. You don't have to follow the friggin' rule. If you were to follow the rules in this friggin' village, the police department wouldn't have time to do their job because they'd be writing tickets for a friggin' horse crossing the street or chicken in the backyard or something. Because there's laws that have never been removed from this village board or from the village of Owego. This sign issue over there is BS. You got to take in consideration these people sitting back here signed a contract years ago to defend and protect the Constitution of the United States and the people that live here. We never friggin' took that sign or that contract away. The government never took it away from us. We're here because we protected a lot of your asses. Some of us might not have served, some of us did serve, but that club over there, along with the VFW and everything, these are men and women that served our country and protected your asses and all. And a simple sign is not hurting a damn thing in this friggin' village and all. And as far as code goes, like I said, you can give and take, you can stretch things or you can relax on things. And that's one thing that needs to be relaxed because it's not hurting a friggin' thing. It's not hurting anybody's property. It's not hurting any individual walking by. It's not going to jump out and bite them. So that's my friggin' word on it.
Anybody else?
Eddie, you look like you wanna.
May I say something?
Yeah. Floor's open to everybody.
Stand right there.
I'm not gonna go up there.
You don't have to.
I can speak loud enough. I've been speaking loud all my lifetime. In 1966, I found myself standing in the highlands of Vietnam. I stayed there until 1967. In 1967, I came home. And when I walked through the LAX airport, I got spit in the face 3 times. Spit in my face because I had on my military uniform. And those people didn't like military people. When I come back to the village of Owego, I went to the VFW. And they told me, we don't need you and we don't want you. My own goddamn people. What's going on right now with that sign? It's like somebody spitting in my face. I'm tired of it. I want you to fix it. I want you to get that sign in that damn hole and leave it there. Thank you. I just had it. I can't do it no more. Shouldn't have to fight with my village for sakes.
See what you guys are creating?
Ken Patterson. So what is the answer to this?
What do you mean by answer?
What about the sign? What's going on with it? I know the village is suing us.
Well, so there's a code issue and a zoning issue. The zoning issue is the big issue, really. We've got to
Well,
figure
we
out.
certainly aren't
how to
too
get through.
residential.
We're not residential, neither is the lawyer office across the road or the multifamily houses down the street from us. We need an answer.
There probably is a solution somewhere.
Well, we need it soon, or we're gonna have to hire our own lawyer and sue the village.
Where's somewhere, Mike?
Well, so possible solutions would be to rezone that section of Front Street. Or change our zoning code to allow that type of a sign in a residential zone.
But it's not residential.
It's the 21st century, it's not 1700s.
Those are like the only legal ways to get where you want to get.
How's the club a residential zone?
It has been forever. It used to be a house.
80 years ago.
Yeah.
80 years ago.
Yeah,
It was
Rusty.
a house.
What is yours? The way the laws and the rules work is in 1969, when residential zones were created in a particular way here, anything that was in that zone before that was grandfathered in. The American Legion was already there. The American Legion was grandfathered into that residential zone. So they could do certain things, they could exist and they could do certain things there because of that. No one else could bring a new business or that kind of a thing into that zone. That's how the Legion got to be there and got to be what it is there.
So how did the Belleville Lockwood?
The Belleville Lockwood, a previous administration changed. What do you want me to do? I'm
You
telling
have
you.
an answer for everything, don't you?
Do you want to know the answer? I'm trying to tell you how it
the
works.
solution.
He's asking. Previous administration decided that they would change. You can't spot zone. We can't zone the American Legion something and not zone the things around it. They decided that they would take a little chunk of Front Street that was, I'm telling you what they did. This is what they did. They would take that and make that from residential 2 to residential 3. They're both residential, but in residential 3, you may have a hotel, motel, or bed and breakfast. So they zoned, that didn't spot zone, just that building, they zoned that piece of the street from business to residential 3, and that allowed them to do that. You want to know the truth? That's what it was.
From Church Street up to.
No, it depends on who
They
you
did.
are.
But then how did Doc Colella get his office in there and Doc Decker, all those guys? And they're not residential.
See, but you're using a generic residential term. The code says that you can have a professional office, which is those things, dentist, doctor, in a residential area.
In an R2.
Yes, it says that, it says that in the code, so that's, once again, that's legal, you can do that. You can't have,
So why doesn't this administration take from the Belleville Lockwood House, include the RSS house, and include the Legion and make it?
we could do that, we could do that and make it R3, residential 3, but that still wouldn't allow the sign.
But if you look at it,
And they got
the
some.
sign,
Am I doing bad here to have this discussion?
if you look at it, the code
So you only
reads
got one house in there
that you can't,
that
you know,
doesn't.
the signs, like the M&T sign isn't legal. The AutoZone sign isn't legal. Because they're
Oh,
internal.
uh,
The
uh,
Boys Club sign isn't legal, and there's a hell of a lot brighter than we are, and we shut ours off at 7 o'clock at night.
So I will say,
Just like we said, I would turn it on in the morning, we'd turn it off at night. And I've been barking what time I turn it on, what time I turn it off. And I can tell you right now, I turned it on at 11:30 today, and I shut it off at 7 o'clock. Yesterday, it wasn't on except after breakfast, or I shut it off after breakfast. There's nothing wrong with that sign, it's advantageous for
Give me the answer to
everybody.
that.
It's advantageous for everybody. We could have done advertised the Lights on the River coming up. We've got a rural ministry cookie sale coming up. This is not the 19th century, people. And that's what they want us to We put don't on our sign. have horse and buggies out there anymore. Come on, give
How
us a
hard would it be
break.
to rezone that? Because
Give
there's
us a
also
break.
another house
We
in there.
don't ask for a lot.
There's another house in there that wanted, she had a storefront, Steve May's building. She wanted to have her storefront in her building, and she got turned down. So pretty much everybody there wants it zoned commercial.
So
You only have
easiest-
one house in between there,
the easiest
between Bell and
way
Lockwood.
for rezoning is if the whole group of neighbors applies for an Explorer. That's the simplest, lowest issue way. The village board can do it ourselves, but that's not the best way.
So in other words, you need everybody from the Elks, at least up to the Legion, to say they want it rezoned.
Or at least a couple of them.
But a couple of things, we're just see that, this is you just said the zone it commercial. It didn't get zoned commercial, it got zoned from R2, residential 2 to residential 3.
I understand.
Making it commercial, you're the one that said commercial is a whole different ballgame.
Extend the business district down to the lead.
But I will say, if you look in our code, signs are one thing that is massively different between zones. And like you always bring up the Boys and Girls Club, which I saw out my back door. The Boys and Girls Club is zoned industrial from a
Which is
million years
stupid.
ago.
That's a stupid thing
Because
to
the
do.
railroad was there. and that's
Zone
where the
industrial in the
was.
middle of an R2 district.
If you look at the village code, and I've got it on my phone on the e-code, it says that those signs are not allowed anywhere in the village. It doesn't give a specific zone.
Zero,
They're not allowed
nada.
anywhere in the
Take them
village.
all down because they're all
So-
illegal to your own
Boys
rule.
Club 1 shouldn't be there, the schools shouldn't be there, Warden Van Scoy shouldn't be there. So if you're gonna make these guys take theirs down, you need to make the other 3 take theirs down. Or change the law.
It's
one of the two.
And there's nowhere in any minutes where there's a variance for any of those signs. Give us a fair, make it legal for everybody, or make it illegal for everybody. It's advantageous for a lot of community organizations. It's advantageous for this village to advertise your functions that are going on. You want to bring people into the village. You know, I got a signature of 500 people that want this sign. 500 people.
So things like rezoning, right, we can't give you a variance for zoning because that's not our function.
We don't have that
But
authority.
we can rezone land.
Who does?
The zoning
Dep-
board of appeals.
Depending on what the situation is, the zoning board of appeals, who is a part of the village government, but is independent of us, they do not
I
answer to us.
understand that. I
They,
know all
they
about
are the ones who give variances, but they have a set number of rules and things about how and what they can give a variance for. They can't just say, we decided that you can have a nuclear waste dump on Front Street. They don't have complete authority to just
The
give it.
unified word you've heard from us is we're willing to work with anybody. But to sit there and file minutes that nobody knows and said, next thing you know, the village is suing us. We just want the damn sign and want to do what you want us to do to have that sign. That's not that hard. Yeah, it's not on all night. It's only, I don't wanna go 100 miles an hour up Front Street. I just wanna do what you people want us to do to make it legal. Is that so hard?
And the other function we can do is obviously change the code in general, which changes it for everybody.
And if you go to, so what?
If you go to the, zoning, you go to zoning, if zoning turns it down, then you can go to zoning board of appeals, correct?
No,
They're the same
there's-
people.
No, there's only one. Zoning Board of Appeals is the one.
Right.
So it's the same people.
Well, there's not two things, that's zoning and then zoning board of appeals.
But if zoning
Board of
turns it
Appeals
down,
is-
then your appeal is down too.
Yeah, because they don't, so let's use OHBC for example, or if you go to them and they turn you down, technically we can overrule them.
Because the law
zoning
allows
board
us
of-
to.
Zoning Board of Appeals, we don't get to do that.
Well, we're not evil people. We're not gonna put machine guns around the sign and guard it with our life. We just want
They've already
this
done that.
issue dead. Put it to bed. However we have to fix it, fix it.
I think we all want it dead.
Let's save everybody money. I just heard how much the EMS thing was, $18,000. Let me tell you, it's gonna be a lot more if they fight us here. Let's save everybody some money. Save you guys some money. Hey, I grew up in this village. I've been here for 68 years. My 9 brothers and sisters grew up here. When this historic, OHPC or whatever started, the whole village was included in the historic district, the whole village. Then they blocked it down Front Street, Main Street. 2 houses on Ross Street opted out. How can you opt out when you're in the center of it? So how do you know that the Legion didn't opt out? There's no records because everything got lost in the flood.
I think I opted out.
Everything got lost in the flood.
Congratulations.
We know you opted, we know you opted out.
Let's save everybody some time, let's save everybody some money, let's get it done,
Mike,
everybody will be happy.
Mike, did I hear you say that if all of the residences along that section of Front Street petitioned, they all agreed to petition the board to change the zoning, that is the way to go?
That's the simplest way.
Are you sure? Because don't set us off
Very okay with that.
to do that and come find out it's illegal.
No, but I
Illegal.
thought you said that the sign isn't legal anywhere in the village. No
That's a
matter-
different issue that we need to, because I thought it was fine in industrial and business.
But see, that
So
goes
just
right
make it
back to what
legal. Just
that
make the
goes back to
sign
what
legal.
I said. You got codes, but the code is flexible. If you were to do everything exactly by the code, there wouldn't be a friggin' thing done in this country.
Yeah,
Because they have put stuff in there that have killed people coming in and developing, along with our friggin' taxes of New York, heaven forbid about that. But you people can flex things. The code officer can flex things. My best friend was the friggin' code officer here, did the job by himself for less money than what you're paying these 2 guys and everything. And I know what the code is because I talked to him and he talks to the guy that taught him and everything. Code is a guideline. Code is flexible. You people are flexible. If you're not flexible, then, well, we got another problem here in the village. But over the years, I've watched this board. I don't come to the meetings anymore, but I've seen the board over the last 30 years and all. And there is flexibility, but it's a matter of who you are as to how we're going to flex.
There's gray areas in everything. I mean, let's face it, gray areas in everything. Because if you want to really get technical, let's go back to the village charter, where it still says that the job of the police chief is to light the lanterns at night. Now, come on.
Yeah.
He don't even live in the village. How's he lighting the lantern?
Remote control.
With a long match.
Wrong match.
Or
Long
flamethrower.
is long.
Evening, Dave Stokes, Remember the Legion, 30 years in the military. We've got every conflict represented here since Vietnam. And unfortunately, we don't have any Korean or World War II representatives with us anymore. The question was asked, what do we need to do to make it happen? I mean, it was stated about machine guns and all that crap. I get it, it's a joke. But we're not looking to make an amusement park over there. We're just looking to make a sign. I came up through today at 6:30 in the afternoon or in the evening, and it looked nice. I remember the old sign that was there. All right, can we say it looked like crap? Because it looked like crap. That's the honest truth. So it said Happy Thanksgiving on it. It had a message on it that I read even while I was riding my bike. It was wonderful. There's got to be a compromise somewhere here where 7 o'clock at night the sucker goes down, or it goes down to a dim, or it can only be so many. It'll only be so loud as far as light in it. But it was a gift to us by a person that was killed working in line of duty for the state. He was a veteran. Is he a veteran? Or sons?
Sons.
He was his sons. It was a gift from his widow. What do we need
3 years ago.
What do we need to do? I know it sounds like people are trying to take steps here, but let's solidify a step and find out what we got to do next to make this happen. I mean, we could talk and say, well, you know, what we should do, well, let's just nail it down and get her done. Because as of right now, we've got paperwork that we're being sued. Am I correct?
That's what
So
the minutes say.
if we can work toward, let's, if we can, I don't know how, if that ship is passed, but let's table that so we can come to an agreement and make this happen. Like I said, we're not trying to put a strip bar in there and put brass poles up in the front lawn. We're just trying to, it honestly looks great. I'm not trying to be biased. And I might be a little biased, but I think it does look much better than the
You're
other.
a little biased.
Yeah, you have a right to be biased.
So, Mr. Mayor, what do we do? First question, can we halt the suit so that we can work toward what we need to do? Can we do that? Yeah, so suit is an interesting term, and that's just because it's a zoning violation, that's how it goes, it has to go to court. But like I talked to the lawyer today, hasn't really gone anywhere. Okay. Probably not. Can't say it's not gonna go anywhere, but it's not moving fast, let's put it that way. Well, that's appreciated, and that's good news. So, I mean, it's not gonna.
Can we form committees, us
Yes.
versus somebody there, and
Let's get some people together to make this happen. And I just even set up a date. We're gonna say, okay, we're gonna meet December 1st, make it happen. Until then, quid pro quo, no, I'm sorry, wrong words.
what are you doing for us?
Wrong words. Scratch that. Take that off. But let it go, or maybe set some rules right now. Turn it off at 7, turn it off at 5, whatever. Whatever we gotta do to postpone it so that we can work together and get her done. Because I don't know how, all I know is we have 500 constituents that said they love the sign, and they actually, I Facebook stalk Owego, town of, the village of, myself, you know, I get scalped all the time, but people, there are rebuttals of the sign. They are few and far between, if you read the comments. Nothing against those, everybody has an opinion, everybody's entitled to it. All I'm saying is your constituents are saying, you know what? What's up? Let's do it. Looks great. I love it. I'm not here to make anybody mad. I mean, someone that lives right next door might not like it. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to piss them off. I'm just trying to come in as a third party and let's work together, make a compromise and get her done. What's the next step?
So it would be, look at the zoning and look at that code and figure out what we need to change.
So
So zoning, I mean, my experience with zoning, you can spot zone, like industrial. The Boys Club is a spot zone. That's what you call it, spot zone.
It is not.
It is not.
Yeah, that whole from the Boys
The
Club.
Boys
all the
Club
way
was
to-
built by
North Ave.
Benny Weitzman in 1950, and it's been there before 1969 when residential
Oh,
zones
yeah,
were
so
built.
the
So it's
basic
not spot, it's
Unless-
grandfathered in.
Unless the village is, so it's pre-existing non-conforming.
Correct.
So therefore, if, you can do anything you want with zoning, anything you want. You can make one address a commercial, one address. That's up to you all and the zoning.
And we're non-conforming.
You don't have to do all, you know, the world is your oyster here. And you guys have so much authority as the board. You have influence and you have authority.
Our attorney is not here tonight, but I believe if he was here, he would tell you we cannot spot zone.
Yeah, there's state laws. against
Well,
that.
then I guess he should be on our committee.
So
That's a good idea.
my understanding, I mean, I've seen, unless it's changed, I've seen zoning maps where one address in the middle of a residential zone is commercial. I've seen it. It's not in the Owego, but it's in this state. So I'm not calling you a liar.
No,
I might be wrong as far as maybe that was done when it was able to get done, and that may have changed. Your attorney would probably know a hell of a lot better than me. But, that's where I'm going with that. I mean, it was done at one time, I don't know if it still can. But let's set the next step, if you will.
Michael, is it fair for me to say you own the next step? Getting committees together? The Legion will give you a committee. We're not at the leisure to do it right now, but before the week is out, we have a meeting tomorrow night, matter of fact. Oh.
Never mind.
I mean,
It's gonna be open.
The commander won't be there.
Can we not, you get whoever you want in the village, the Legion will get whomever they want, and we can just sit down and iron this thing out. Or at least take little steps to get it finished.
I like that plan.
And I will tell you right now, that sign will be shut off, because it's not on a switch or anything. It'll be shut off by at least 7:30 every night.
So
And
the kids
I
can-
know every Saturday it's off by 6:15, because I shut it off before I leave. But I don't, and it doesn't come on till 11 in the morning, so it'll be off.
Doesn't matter.
It'll be off, but I just want to add one thing too, just so you know. And I know it has nothing to do with OHPC, but when I met with them, I believe it was June 17th, 2021, there was a video Zoom. I was the last one on the agenda. I went through the dog and pony show. They denied it, only to find out, and I have documentation, and a month before, in May, they had already made the decision that they were gonna deny it. They should have just told me ahead of time and saved me the time. It's another 2 hours I'm never gonna get back. At my age, I gotta get as many hours as I can.
One last final statement, I apologize.
You're good.
So can we assume, or will it be solidified that the lawsuit will be postponed until after the findings from the committee? Can we agree to that? Do you need a vote? Or is it basically what's gonna happen?
Yeah, why don't we vote on that? Just put it on hold until we.
Make some type of motion.
I make the
Did we,
motion.
when we voted last time, did we vote to, I mean, we voted to have the attorney move forward or whatever we voted for, but did we vote to sue at that moment?
That was the motion they gave us, that we said, yeah, sure.
When that motion was made, the word sue was not in it. That's what got me. It was not in there, so I didn't vote to sue anybody. But
Yeah.
those words were put in the minutes later on, and I got hoodwinked.
No, they were, you voted.
Hold on, I've got what it says right here, hold on.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, what it says in the minutes is not what I heard.
You're not the only trustee I've talked to that said the same thing. That's not what they heard either.
It'll be okay. We can just say.
It's recorded. All those
Investigate.
meetings are recorded.
I know, but if you go ask them later, that's not what they heard.
Oh,
We're talking over there.
That was a long night.
10:30.
It was, yeah.
That was a really long night.
We're trying to get there tonight, 10:30.
It's usually
Have to
midnight.
get
but
done.
we usually stay here till the rain falls.
Right here, it says, resolved upon, I won't say who the trustees were that did it, but, where'd it go?
Last paragraph.
Yeah.
Is that our minutes you're quoting from, Dick?
Yeah.
I have them somewhere here.
And I honestly couldn't remember either, so I watched the video, and that is exactly what was said.
I can't read this. Resolved upon motion,
Right, you make a lot of
trustees
pages.
Spencer and, well,
Which
to,
day did we do?
to compel the American Legion to remove the digital sign and authorize, Colgan and Gerhard to handle the lawsuit. That's not what I heard.
Roll call vote, trustee Slater, Spencer, Van Hogen, and Hughes, and the mayor Beretta voted aye, trustee Porter abstained.
Okay. I said that was my last statement, because here's the deal. The people who win and make money, the only people that win in a lawsuit are lawyers. So, I do see, and I'm not trying to stroke you or nothing, but I see some intelligent people here, people that are sensible, that we can be grounded and have common sense and come together. I see that. So, sorry, that is my last statement.
So if it's possible to make that motion that was suggested to, squash that lawsuit stuff, whatever, yeah, whatever.
Make a motion.
Well,
So we can break down.
whatever words that was used in that, I'll make that motion.
There's our problem now.
I'm not a lawyer to lawyerize words.
But there's our
What's
problem.
right
I'm sorry,
and what's
interrupted you.
wrong. All that stuff in the middle, waste of time, because we don't have that much time in life.
There's our problem, is we let our lawyer make the motion.
Yeah, and sometimes it gets muddled.
Might I?
Yeah.
You guys, I might have the floor while you guys are discussing all that. So there becomes one of our problems. One is that our attorney is making a motion, and he's a good enough attorney, and sometimes it's valuable, but when he's making a motion, that's what he's saying. Second is, no offense to you, but you just said, well, I want to make this motion of that language. That's a problem that we have. We don't know what we're saying exactly. We need to know exactly what we're saying, and we need to say it that way instead of that kind of thing. I want to make that motion of that language. No, that's vague. And we get into trouble with that. We need to do better process, which I'm always arguing about. So if we want to do something about that previous motion, then we need to have a logical motion to do something about that. Well, that would be one thing. We can
I tell you what to say, what I want.
We can do it, whatever.
Rescind the motion.
Thank you. Now's not the time. Now is for us to say what we're gonna do and how we're gonna do it.
Well, like these gentlemen were saying, there's a lot of emotion caught up in this. And with me also, it's a lot of emotion caught up in this, because if it wasn't for these guys, I wouldn't be in the position I am today. And to feel the way I felt on Veterans Day, with this hanging over our head, it's not cool.
Amen.
You want to make a motion, Charles? I think
So you're not gonna like how this goes. We don't choose code to do these things. As much as we'd like to think so, code does this. Code issues the violation. Code. I don't know what authority we have.
The only authority we had on that was because we'd have to maybe spend money.
So
I don't think the issue is code here, what they're talking about is the meeting minutes where it said lawsuit. Which is a whole different ballgame.
Okay.
You guys obviously went to the Lord, went to Nate and said, give us advice. He made his suggestion, somebody made a motion, y'all voted on it. And they just want that to kind of be slowed down a little bit. So you can try and come to a compromise.
We know lawsuits go on and on and on anyways. But let me just add this if I could. Maybe some of you know it, maybe you don't. New York State Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation. They are in the process between now and the 200th anniversary of the American Revolution in 2026, are installing 20 kiosks, interactive kiosks in historical districts within the state. So my question is, are they gonna say, well, you can't put it in ours because you can't have that sign in here? And their conclusion reads, in summary, as we advance further into the digital age, interactive outdoor kiosks will continue transforming public spaces, offering more engaging, personalized, and memorable experiences. Businesses, destinations, and communities will better connect with their audiences, drive economic growth, and preserve cultural heritage. The future of interactive outdoor kiosks is bright. Except in the village of Owego.
That's New York State.
That's the state parks is doing that.
All right, so anyway, we have this issue with the motion, so how do we slow this baby down in an official kind of way?
So do we tell we tell our attorneys to, take no, I heard, but it's time for you guys to, as we talk about this, it's time for you guys not to be jumping in now. Do we take, tell our attorneys, get rid of it, goodbye, we don't want to do it at all, which I don't know how that works, but do we tell them, we want you to take no, no, yes, no, no, we have to have the word, no, it's all matters that we say. We take no particular, whatever, however we say action at this time, you do not. How do, you know what I'm saying? How do you want to do it?
Yeah, it's a table.
I would like to make a motion.
Okay, that'll be well thought.
That the village of Owego temporarily put a hold on a lawsuit with the American Legion on Front Street in Owego for a minimum of 3 months until the board and the Legion can get together and have a meeting to work on the issues.
That's probably not a very good motion.
Well,
It is a motion.
You second it, Charles? Discussion.
Thank you. Sorry about interrupting you in the middle of that.
So you're asking for.
There's a whole bunch of language in there
Temporary hold on
that
the
wouldn't be,
lawsuit.
that wouldn't be what you would say, but
So you're asking to delay enforcing the village code and law? You want the mayor to ask the lawyer to delay enforcing the codes and laws of the village?
but then there was added language. You can make a motion that we want you to halt this at this time. Then there was a bunch more language about meeting with a committee and doing this and doing that, and that probably shouldn't be the motion.
Yeah, I would maybe scratch, I mean, it's not my motion, but I would maybe scratch that part, just say delay for 3 months while we.
But we don't have to say, well, we,
How about just delay it for 3 months?
How where we get 3 months?
Yeah.
I came up with that.
So we just delay it.
Well,
Yeah, 3 months not very long in
we
village
should-
time.
Well, you think it should be different like that?
Probably closer to 6.
I wouldn't get it.
what it should be,
Why I make it 6
what
months?
it should be is we ask
I'll
them to,
modify it that it should be temporary hold on the lawsuit for 6 months.
It doesn't mean that we should take 3 months, we should get this done expeditiously.
I agree, we don't know how.
And then just
Temporary
have-
hold.
Just temporary hold for 6 months. and for 3 months.
Well, if you go to change zoning
are
or
we gonna,
anything in code, you have to have a public hearing and stuff.
There's a
So
process,
you
yes.
need to have time for that.
so why are we putting a
I would say why in negotiation, I wouldn't put a time on it. Cause it could take you months.
No, it has to be a time.
This is not the
That's okay,
time
Rusty,
for the
Rusty,
audience to be
Rusty.
chiming in on this. Please, let us do this now. This is
Well,
the
you can't
procedure.
make the friggin' decision. This lady over here brought up a good thing, so why don't you just follow through instead of friggin' going through all the bullshit you're trying to put up?
But
And Laura,
it's a legality thing.
it's
They're trying to get the
it's
right
just a
way.
simple thing. Hold things for friggin' 3 to 6 months. The Legion will meet with the village
We're
board.
not gonna put that in a motion. We can do that, but that's not gonna be that
Well, like I
motion.
said, what's in the friggin' rules can be stretched or friggin', you give and take. Gosh darn, you people are friggin' crazy.
We're trying to get there.
You got two people, a first and a second motion.
Yep, and
The
we're
whole-
discussing it now.
Yeah, well, you're gonna get discussed until friggin' midnight at this rate, because you got people over there that are talking the right talk, and then you got people over here, other than one, that's talking the wrong talk.
Time to walk the walk.
So what time frame do we want?
6
Mike,
months.
Six.
Modified
Mike, I want
6
no
months.
time frame, as Ms. Bodnar said. We
What did
halt
that-
the lawsuit at this time.
Temporary.
We halt the
That's
lawsuit.
another option, is that we say we halt it, and then eventually. we need
We're gonna
to
have
say-
to do something
Bring it back up.
sometime. We'll have to do whatever we have to do sometime.
I would not drop it. I would halt it. Don't drop
That's what I said.
That's why I said a temporary hold.
What I was going for.
And
Do you
I
want
just,
us to take the time frame out, just say right.
I do, I
temporary
don't
hold?
want the time frame in there, a time frame that we don't have any feel for.
Yeah, 'cause we don't know if it takes a month,
Drop it.
come one way or the other.
Well, if you think we are gonna need to specify a time, then say, we'll put a temporary
No,
hold.
drop it. Can we just say that?
How about this?
Does the word temporary have to even go in there, because that
Temporary hold.
requires a time frame.
It doesn't require a time frame.
I think if we don't say temporary, then we're just trying to say we're not ever gonna do anything. You know what I mean? But we need to do something. We gotta make it right.
Fran, would you be,
Okay,
Fran, would you be okay with temporary halt a temporary halt to any legal action?
Yes. I think that would be the motion.
Temporary halt to any legal action.
Okay.
Okay, read that to us, Ron.
Motion by Fran, second by Charles, and go to legal, put a temporary hold on any lawsuit.
See, you read back lawsuit,
I'm sorry.
and I just said legal action.
So-
Legal action.
That's how come we get into trouble.
That covers more than just the
Legal
law.
action.
That's because I had.
Okay.
Okay, everybody's good with, well, you guys are good with that motion, because you made it, you seconded it?
Yeah.
Any other discussion on the motion? Then we'll vote on that.
I will do it now because when we vote, is not the time to discuss it. I belong to the American Legion. I will be recusing myself. I will be abstaining from this motion because it would be improper for me to vote on this. I'm just telling you ahead of time.
So if there's no other discussion, let's vote on it. We'll start with Rusty.
Abstain?
Laura,
No.
Dave, Fran,
Yes.
Terry,
No.
Charles,
Yes.
and yes.
Passed.
Motion passes. So we'll put a temporary hold on all that, and we'll attempt to come up with a solution. Work with you guys.
Who's gonna?
Okay, now back to the public comment now.
Well,
That you were in the middle of and stuff, but when we were doing that piece.
Your organization needs to put together a group of people that wants to work with some of the board members. The mayor can appoint
Yeah, I'll
board members
group
to
our
work with your group.
attorney in, and we'll try and figure this mess out.
Well, plus you gotta have code involved. Because they're the ones that know their rules
Yes.
that are flexible.
Yeah, and
So I mean, it would be a separate meeting other than the board.
So who's gonna contact who to get this initiated?
You guys.
We're
can
gonna
work
contact,
together.
will.
we're gonna contact you, Mayor?
Mayor, she's gonna accept that.
Kenny says nobody's gonna, Kenny says nobody's gonna contact anybody.
Michael said you would take charge of this and contact the Legion. The Legion is Kenny Patterson.
You two gotta work together.
Just what you were hoping for, Ken. But you've been on this board, so you know all this stuff.
She's a former board member, yeah. Yeah, so put together a small group.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to say thank you to all you guys for your service.
Yes.
I got one more.
Sorry,
You're so close.
Hey, you know what?
What time is it?
Mayor wanted
You wanna talk about, first of all, my question is that, the old Lynn's drugstore there. Did OHPC really approve what they did to the front of that building? Cause I'd like to know what's so historical about that. I think
It was before.
it makes it look a little too
It looks,
modern than historical.
it looks horrible.
We can check into that, but. So Carrie took over, reporting on OHPC, but that was before she started reporting.
Yeah, she started with the board.
To kind of get back to code a little bit,
She's a newbie.
why do they seem to be picking and choosing what they're gonna enforce anymore, especially with certain things? You've got a law in the books regarding apartments that's over 20 years old.
Another
Itchy
department
was-
came down on them.
Itchy
and
was
that's why
pretty
they
good about
enforced
coming
it.
in and doing the inspections every change of tenancy. They're not enforcing that at all, but now they're threatening to take landlords to court if they don't let them in to do a 30-month inspection. That's supposedly part of this law too.
Okay.
Yeah. You wouldn't have to do the 30-month if you did the every change of tenancy like you're supposed to.
I will say we need about,
Enforce that before it's jumping into something else.
I will say we need about 15 more code guys probably.
Well, it's pretty funny when you had one guy that did everything, and he's the one that got that in the village charter or whatever, that, and it's to protect the tenant and the landlord, where anytime a new tenant comes into an apartment, the apartment gets inspected. At that point, the landlord knows if the previous tenant did damage, the village knows that who's at fault of the damage and whether it's to code. And all.
That was.
And like Mike just said, this other thing, it's ridiculous. You're here, that was made up to protect the landlord and to protect the tenant's rights. And all. So after that period of time that he's talking about, who the hell knows the way they rotate in this village, who did the damage?
Yeah, not to mention the fact that not 20 people in this village stayed 30 months in an apartment.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've had at least 1 or 2 changes of tenancy. So if they're doing the inspections at every change of tenant, like they're supposed to make sure it's up to code and there's no damage before the new tenant moves in, you don't need to do a 30-month inspection.
I hate to jump in here. The code is not intended to protect somebody about who did damage. The code is intended to protect the safety. And these apartments, whenever there's a change, there's supposed to be a new code,
Certificate of occupancy.
and they're supposed to get a certificate of occupancy for the new tenant. It doesn't really have anything to do with damage. It has to do with making sure the apartment is
It
safe.
does have to
When the
do with.
law was passed.
But that's not what the code is not about
That's
whether
how it
somebody.
was originally written.
Maybe
I was
that might
there when that was
That,
written.
that might be the case, that was an intention, but it's not.
Protect
All right.
the tenant and the landlord.
Yeah.
As
Okay.
far as damages go. So
Okay.
when the tenant moves out, they can't say, well, those damages were there beforehand.
Exactly.
Because they would have pictures on file of those damages.
Makes sense to me.
And then
Yeah.
the landlord
That's
could
why it
come
was
in and say,
done.
well, they did this damage, that damage, there was no damage there.
Anything else?
Hurry, quick, before somebody else leaves.
Good meeting.
Move to adjourn.
All right. See you guys in a couple weeks.
Thanks again.